time, we are also going to see how Teamcenter is helpful to the clients or customers in general. Why do customers prefer PLM or Teamcenter? In what way it is going to help them in their day-to-day businesses? So this is the very overall background of what is what and how it helps the users, how it helps us in turn when we learn Teamcenter. At the end of this PPT, I'm also going to give you the training plan. What topics are going to be covered in this training and how these topics would help in different career paths. This is what is going to be discussed in this session. Let me share my screen. I hope you all are able to see a PPT. Now, let us first start with PLM. What is a PLM? Before going and learning about the Teamcenter, it is important for us to learn about PLM. What is a PLM? Because Teamcenter is one of the PLM applications that is available in the market today. When I say one of the PLM applications, there are other PLM applications too, which performs similar functionalities that Teamcenter provides, but a lot of medium and large scale industries would prefer Teamcenter over other PLM applications because of its robustness, high level securities, and the ability to deal with the most complex data. That is the reason usually the medium and large scale industries prefer the Teamcenter. But since Teamcenter is one of the PLM, let us first learn what is a PLM. The full form of the PLM is Product Lifecycle Management. Many of you might have already heard of it. When we have some experience in the software, we also know about a life cycle. We would have seen life cycle at many different areas or the software development life cycle too. PLM also falls into a similar life cycle process, meaning it all starts with a concept, an ideology. And then it progresses through multiple stages until it becomes a final product that is marketed to the user and even after marketing services like recycling. From the beginning of idea through the design, manufacturing, service, and end of life cycle. Every stage of the product, Teamcenter is going to be present as a backbone to the users, or a PLM system is going to be present as a backbone to the users, providing a digital representation of their physical processes. Using the PLM software, what we are going to achieve at the end of the day is providing a digital twin to the users. All the processes, all the rules, all the functionalities their physical organization should follow will be implemented inside this PLM software so that they can process, go ahead and see the design digitally before actually producing the product. That way they can reduce the overhead costs, time, and the time to process as well. How we are going to achieve? is we will see it. But this is what PLM talks about. For any product, be it an automotive, be it an aerospace domain, or be it any textile, medical, be it any domain. In every domain, when we deal with products, every product should follow the same life cycle. And we are going to provide our support throughout the journey of this product. That is what PLM is about. Now, what is a Team Center? It is the Siemens leading platform of all the available PLM softwares. It acts as the single source of truth for product data and the processes across the organization. If PLM comes with a need, Teamcenter provides the solution to it. Teamcenter is one of the tools of the PLM needs which we would use to implement that. It not only just acts as a place where we can implement all the processes for the users, it also makes sure that all the other third party systems the clients may use, like SAP or any ERP systems or other platforms, would be integrated with the Teamcenter easily using the Teamcenter or PLM connectors available. There are many connectors available today, which will make sure that Teamcenter is going to be integrated with different CAD systems, ERP systems, or any other third party supplier or vendor systems. That is another major advantage Teamcenter is going to provide the users. Now, we know that it is going to provide all this, and what is PLM? Now, why do they really go for a PLM or a Teamcenter when they can do all of these things without the help of any software? For that, let us imagine a typical day in our product development team. When we think about an organization, we would have multiple functionalities or domains within that organization where one team deals with the engineering design and the managers are going to review the process or progress, where manufacturing is going to build something and quality team make sure that we are meeting the compliance that is needed by the company, and so on. Now, when we think about an organization that have multiple divisions in it, often the challenge would be, are we really working with the right data? And can we trace the changes clearly? What if we are working with a wrong data? What if someone else has made some other changes to the same data and we are not aware of it? That is where Teamcenter helps the users. How does it going to help? By ensuring that we have always the latest designs, approvals, and the related data accessible to every team member or every division of the organization. Why are we really thinking about finding our data? If you are an engineer who needs the CAD model of a brackets, suppose let's say for a car model, to make a design update to it, without the PLM software or without the Teamcenter to be particular, how we are going to share the data? It is through drives, emails, or Teams chats, or any other communications that the company is going to use. Now, when we are using these platforms, how are we going to share the latest files? An engineer one is going to share the available latest design for that bracket part in the group chat. Now, engineer B is going to take that, work on it, and then rename it to bracket underscore final. Some other comes and then says bracket underscore latest, and so on. The naming patterns goes on. We will come across these types of situations where when we see multiple files renamed with bracket underscore final, final to latest, latest underscore new, we would be gone without knowing what is really the latest design. What is the file that we need to take and work on? Nobody would have any idea about what is latest, new, final, final 2 means. These confusing names are going to make industries lose a lot of time, money, manual effort, and delaying the market into the product. Sorry, delaying the product into the market. To reduce that, Teamcenter always have a concept called revisions. Any object that we deal within the Teamcenter would have revisions to it. Revisions are nothing but versions of the object. When we have the versions clearly named or numbered in a sequential manner, everybody knows what is the latest one that we are currently working, or what is the latest approved design, or what has been obsoleted or inactivated, cancelled. Because every object would have its own status, its own versions. Using the versions, not only we come to know about what is latest released or approved, we also have a clear cut history maintaining what type of updates this particular product has been gone. There is no limit to the number of revisions available. It is possible to make a limit, but when you take out the limit, as long as the object is available in the Teamcenter, you would be able to see its history back to its origin. It doesn't matter. Everyone can be able to go back in time, search for the first version of the product, and then compare the latest today's version, and then they can understand what type of changes this product has been gone into and why they have been made changes. Everything will be available to the users. That's how it helps the users in finding the correct data. Now let us see some real life scenarios. Just now we have seen about versions. What is the need of having versions and how it helps us users in everyday life. Now coming to the next most important topic is change request. What is a change request? When, suppose let's take a car model which has been launched 2 years back. Now the manufacturers came to know that there are some faults with the existing car model and they need to fix something in that engine or brake system or in any other part of the car. Now when they want to make changes and bring a better engine, they don't start from the scratch. They don't start building a new engine from the start. They will take the existing engine and then they are going to work on top of that to fix the existing issues and then implement a new ones if they want to bring any enhancements to the existing product. To do that, one can never go ahead and change the designs as and when they feel like it. Teamcenter would never allow that. There are some processes to be followed so that everyone would be aware of what change a particular product is now going through. That change is nothing but our change management module. What this module would do is it tracks every change the organization would need to implement on the existing parts. Every time a engineer or a designer or a manufacturer wants to make any change to any of the designs, it all starts by raising the change request. When they initiate the change request, there are already certain designated people who would be able to get the request, review the request, and make a decision on whether or not we really require this. Can we not just function without this change? What is the impact this change is going to have on the organization? How many car models are going to be impacted? What is the financial impact the organization has to bear? And how long this is going to take? And from when this change should be effective? There are a lot of considerations a company has to first review and then come to a decision of whether or not to go with this change request. Only then they can go and implement the change, and even after the change implementation it goes on to specific evaluations to see whether this new change is working as expected or not. And then once the final approval is given, that's when you would see these latest design changes on the product. Until then, you wouldn't see. Now, why do we need all these reviewals, approvals, or implementation, and then post validations? After that, again, a review or approval process. This is required to track a change request. When a design has been revised from version 1 to version 2, everyone should know the reason for the revision. What is the reason that necessitate that force the engineers to make this change on the design? Without a valid reason, no one can do that. Next is a clear-cut audit history, letting the compliance team know who is involved in this review process. Whether you got the approval from the design team, whether you got the approval from the financial team, did you already see the impacts that it is going to have on the environment even? Based on the domain that we are in, even we need an approval from the current government's compliance system even. To provide the approval, they would need this audit trails. To provide a very detailed information of a change, we have one separate module called change management. That is one of the powerful tools that is available within the Teamcenter, which makes sure that every department is reviewing it and then providing their feedback. And everyone is going to consider all of the feedbacks before implementing it, even after implementing it. That's about change management. It has its tracked workflows, approvals, and reviewals in place. Next scenario is cross-team collaborations. Now we have all seen in the previous example, we have looked at an engineering team, a management team, quality team, managements, all of them. All of them needs to work with a similar data throughout. Everyone needs to know where the process is at, where we are currently at, when we are going to get a particular product. Everyone can make use of the Teamcenter because based on the projects that we are in, we can provide access to the users. And the next one is compliance. we've just talked about when we are discussing about the change management. Compliance is a very, very important concepts for a lot of organizations. When you have ever worked in any sensitive data product or project where we deal with defense, medical industries, all of these should undergo a very tight compliance process. Only then they would get the necessary approvals to launch their product into the market. Without that, it is not possible for them to launch any product into the market. To pass this compliance, everyone would need full audit trails and traceability. They need to say what happened in the past. Why did you make a design change to the engine? What is the impact that it is going to have on the aircraft? And then what are the quality tests that it has undergone to? Every detailed step is required for them to cross this compliance process. Teamcenter doesn't just provide the compliance through the change process, it also provides the individual audit history for the objects as well. That is one of the key concepts for compliance department, and Teamcenter is very good at providing even individual product audits or the processes that it has gone through and the change history as well. These are some of the real life scenarios where Teamcenter comes or provides a very good benefit to the users. The same is even explained in this scenario. Now we have seen the scenarios here. Through these scenarios, how the users are being benefited, engineers can spend less time searching and more time on the designing because we have the version control in place. And then managers, they can have the real-time visibility into the projects and the approvals because we have clear-cut approvals and the workflows in place. And then the manufacturing team, they can always build from the released and the correct data because we have the version control in place. Now, when it comes to the compliance, how they are being benefited is they have direct traceability of issues to parts and the versions. That's how it is going to be a very useful product, not for just engineers or the manufacturers, to every user in the organization. Now, what industries are going to use Teamcenter is we've seen some domains like aerospace and medicals. That's not the end of it or the complete list. Teamcenter has gone into a very large sector of industries where we have seen clients in a lot of domains. These are most popular domains that we are seeing, which is aerospace and defense, automotive and transportations, industrial machineries, electronics and high techs, medical devices and pharma, energy and utilities. We can even list out major users in these domains, but once you come and work with it, you would understand what key players we have in these domains. It's not just an automotive industry or a manufacturing industry that is using Teamcenter. Teamcenter has a lot of clients in different sectors in the market today. Now, who is using Teamcenter within these industries is a lot of domains. Engineering, manufacturing, quality, compliance, procurement, supply chain, service, maintenance. Every domain, every function, every division within an organization can make use of Teamcenter and get benefited out of it. That is the reason users are going with the PLM Teamcenter today to manage their products, data, their processes. In a way, we are providing them with their digital twin. That is the reason why users choose Teamcenter to maintain their products and the processes. Now, let's talk about ourselves. Till now, we have seen what Teamcenter is going to provide to the customers and the users in the market. But what happens when we learn the Teamcenter ourselves? What type of career paths do we get from Teamcenter? Usually, if you are starting your career, or if you have up to 5 or 7 years of experience, these are some of the Teamcenter roles that you would see: a Teamcenter developer, functional consultant, business analyst, admin, and QA. When you have more experience in the industry or in the IT, then you would see next level roles like a principal consultant, architect, be it a technical architect or a solution architect, and a technical manager even. Now, what path you should choose? What activities each of these roles should perform in their day-to-day life is: Teamcenter developer should have the functional knowledge of Teamcenter and all its modules. Along with that, he should be responsible for customizing the existing solutions in order to make sure that we are providing correct, suitable solution to the users. We cannot just make use of the existing Teamcenter as is. We need to do their own customization so that we are making a customized PLM for them. And that customization is the responsibility of the developer. When we talk about customization, there is server customization and client customization. And then comes the Teamcenter admin. What are the responsibilities of Teamcenter admin is he should have the functional knowledge of all the modules in the Teamcenter, and he should be also be able to deploy the solutions, install the Teamcenter, maintain servers. These are the main responsibilities when it comes to Teamcenter admin. Why we are saying he also needs to have functional knowledge, meaning Teamcenter admin is often responsible to make some admin related changes within the Teamcenter. In order to perform and maintain the servers, he should have a functional knowledge of Teamcenter and all its modules. Then comes the consultant and the business analyst. We all know how the consultant and the analyst would work. They will have their knowledge of Teamcenter, what functionalities each modules would provide. They would have an understanding of what Teamcenter is currently providing, what else we need to perform in order to bring the solution that user is requesting today. They are going to get the requirements, analyze them, compare them with the existing functionality, and they make a decision of how to best implement the necessary functionality on top of the existing one. And then comes Teamcenter QA. We all know the quality team is responsible to validate the implemented solutions, whether or not they are up to the mark, what customer is expecting, how the delivered solution is behaving, whether these two are matching, is there any deviation? When there is a deviation, they make sure to have these issues created, inform the development team and the users, make sure it is working fine. That's how these roles and their job description would look like. These are not the only activities these would play, but these are the majority of the activities these team center roles are going to work on. Now, with this, I'm concluding the introduction to the team center, how it is going to be useful to the users, how it is going to be useful to the people who are learning it. Now, I would like to also show you what our training is going to cover. Give me a minute. Let me bring up the Excel where I'm going to give you the list of topics that we are going to learn today and what topics are useful for us. Let me share a different file. Yeah. Our training is divided into three specific topics, even though it says an introduction. What it is: introduction to the team center, administration, and customizations. Our aim of this training is whatever career path one is choosing, be it team center developer, implementation engineer, admin, QA, our training should help them because all these roles commonly have one objective: to have an understanding and idea of different modules of Teamcenter, what functionalities each module is going to provide to the users, what are the existing OOTB functionalities, how you can customize them, and when you customize them, what are the benefits the user is going to have. That is common for every role. One should have an understanding of Teamcenter and all its common modules. When we say common modules, every module would have numerous number of functionalities in it. We should understand what is what, which module is providing which functionality. Because when you hear any requirement from the user, you should be in a position to already know whether or not this functionality is already available with the OOTB Team Center. When I say OOTB, it means out of the box. Siemens is already providing a lot of modules and functionalities in it. If what user is asking is outside of this solution, then comes the customization. Otherwise, we don't need to customize it because that is already available functionality. This information is very important for every team center role, irrespective of who it is, be it a developer, tester, admin, or a consultant analyst, especially for consultant and analyst. They should be aware of team center modules, every functionality that module is going to provide. That's why our training is designed in such a way that we would come to know about most commonly used modules in the Team Center. Why I'm saying most commonly used is Team Center has n number of modules available. Not every module is available for basic Team Center licenses. Some of the modules requires a very specific license. Only when a client needs it, they are going to purchase it. Otherwise, they do not have those. So we are going to learn about most commonly used Teamcenter modules in our training. And when I say modules in the Teamcenter, we will learn about what is a Teamcenter, the architecture of the Teamcenter, and then my sorry, basic actions of the Teamcenter. What is an object? How do you create it? What information you see within the Teamcenter? And then comes the this is a continuation to the same Teamcenter navigation. Then we are going to cover Structure Manager. This is where we will learn about assemblies, bombs, how do you create and manage bombs, what functionalities BOM is going to provide to the users, everything. You are not seeing the variants in this, but we are going to also cover variants concepts of the Teamcenter. Variant is a very important concept of the assembly because even though it has just started as one of the functionalities the structure manager is going to provide in the beginning, it has now matured into a separate concept of itself where we have a very specialized module developed purely based on these variant concepts. That's a really important one. Not everyone would have that knowledge. Having that variant concept and the variant configurator concept is a add-on for us. And then comes the workflows. Workflow designers and workflow viewer will be covered, where we will learn about initiating, implementing, using the workflows. And then comes the access control. This is where you are going to provide the security of the objects or the processes. Rules and access control this will be available in this. Again, this is an important one. And then comes organization. This is where we are going to manage all the people that is going to have access to the Teamcenter, what type of accesses it should have, and everything, all the licenses as well. The other one is query builder. This is where we are going to either use the existing queries or we are going to build our own queries based on the need. How we can build a query or make use of the existing queries as well. And then comes the preferences. Preferences is nothing but our settings, but it plays a very important role in deciding how a functionality should work. What is the default setting of every functionality? Who can perform what action? Everything can be managed through these preferences. And then comes the command suppression. Which command should be visible to the users? Which command should be hidden from the users? Everything will be covered in this. And then comes the projects. This is a very important concept again, which will make sure only certain people from a project would have access to the data related to that project. Not every member in the organization should have access to every data. That is covered within this project concept. And then comes the classification. Here, classification admin and classification both are covered. Once we cover all these basic concepts, then we are going to talk and learn about BMIDE. What is a BMIDE? This is the heart of the Teamcenter, where our data model changes are present. Without the BMIDE or without the data model, there is no Teamcenter at all. So this is a very important concept. But before going and learning about this, we should be able to understand what type of objects would be there, how you deal with it, how you navigate through it, basic modules, their functionalities, behavior, Once we have that understanding, then when you go into the data model and its in-depth concepts, that's when you would understand it better. After the data model is done, then we are going to cover ITK. This is the server-side customizations of the Teamcenter. We are going to cover all the ITK implementations, where we have the ITK functions and modules, how we can utilize that, how you can implement any functionalities. So this is how the training structure is going to be. Out of this entire concept, only this ITK server-side customization is very specific to the developers, consultants, and somehow analysts, because even the business analysts would have some technical knowledge to it. That's why it is going to be helpful to them. Otherwise, all other concepts are very important for any Teamcenter career that you are choosing. This is how the training would look like. The approximate time for this training is obviously, why I'm saying approximate is it depends on the pace with which we are going. Usually it would take around 30 business days to finish them. But again, it would have a plus or minus 5 days. Depends on our pace. Each session would contain 1 hour. I would try to finish within an hour, but based on the concepts that we are discussing, I would take a logical break. So it may extend sometimes, or it may just end before 10 minutes. If needed, it may extend for another 15 or 20 minutes. That's how the training is going to be. These are the concepts and the times as well. So this is what I would like to explain you. Now, if you have any questions, you can ask me.
Hello, Sajanya. I have one small doubt. It is possible
Yeah,
to learn within the hours, full cycle, full for all functionality?
it is possible because we are going to cover most of the important functionalities each module is going to provide. But then it's up to you to practice them in your own time and come back with your questions within our training time. Even
Okay,
after my sessions, you would need to go learn about it, revise the topics, and then practice it.
okay. So you will provide software to us, right?
Yeah,
Okay. Bi-weekly class or weekend class it is basically
every weekday.
weekday only, not weekend.
No, it's weekday. Every weekday, there's going to be a session. I don't want to just take the weekend sessions where we tend to forget what we learned on the previous week because we all have our own lives and the works. So I always believe having the sessions every weekday and pausing it during the weekends would be very helpful to learn these concepts instead of having a weekends.
Yes, Sajanya. Because basically I am working person, so my work hours morning 8:30 to evening 6 around. Sometimes it will take it to 7 or 7:30. So it might be difficult to join that class hours. So that's why you're
The
asking.
sessions are
Uh,
going to be way before 8:30. Now, what is the time for you?
around 8 o'clock morning.
Around 8 o'clock. It will be done by 8 o'clock. If we
Yeah,
are going to
it's
schedule the sessions, it would be like from your 7 to 8, based on your flexibility. Maybe we can shift half an hour before so that it would be helpful for. for the office goers.
Okay, I will check with Ravi for the
Yeah,
training
sure.
hours because it's difficult to me basically because I started uh, from my house around 6:30, so it's difficult for me. I will check
Sure.
with Ravi.
We
No
can talk
problem.
about
Thank you.
that. It's no problem.
Yeah.
Hello,
Hi,
ma'am.
Sojana.
Good morning.
Hi, Ashwari.
Yeah. So, ma'am, do you provide the servers to us to practice, right?
Yeah, you will be given with an environment where there will be a team center. You can practice on it.
Okay. So,
I forgot to actually give you one important concept. All the modules that we are talking about, we would be using Rich Client Team Center. We are not going to use AWC for this training. It will be Rich Client. Anyways, Rich Client is the place where you would see all the functionalities available. AWC, even though we have major functionalities, they still do not have all the 100% functionalities. So the
what
training is on Rich Client.
is it? Rich client means old version or new version? How it will be?
Teamcenter has different clients. Client meaning UIs, how where you would actually interact with the Teamcenter. That is the UI. Rich client is the original UI of the Teamcenter. Now they have implemented a lightweight version of the Teamcenter client, which is AWC. To access AWC, you don't have to install the Teamcenter in your machine. All you need to have is access to that URL, and you would be able to see Teamcenter from that URL. But like I said, it's a lightweight one. And Rich Client is the place where you would see all the functionalities. AWC is still now in the implementation stage where we are implementing major functionalities. Right now, we already have many modules and major functionalities already implemented in the AWC. But I'd like to also, again, make sure that you are all informed of it.
Hi, Sojana. Rahul this side. I have
Hi,
one
Rahul.
question that after the training is over, we will still have access to the training materials which are shared during this training for future reference, or training notes or recordings be shared with us. How it will?
The documents that we are sharing, you would have it. I need to check about the recordings. I'm not sure that we are going to provide you with the recordings later on. I can check and come back on it. But whatever materials that we are providing, the documents, you would have that access.
Okay. Thank you.
Hi, ma'am. Omkar here.
Hi, Omkar.
Ma'am, the servers which you are going to provide, it will be a full-time use for individual or it will be having a time constraint?
Sorry, what is it? The environment that you get for practicing.
Yeah.
Currently, we have one environment with us, and we will give that access to all the training people at that particular time. So if there are 5 or 10 people, maybe 2 active users can work on it at a time. If that is the case, the system can be shared by 2 people at the same time. Not everyone can utilize it at the same time.
Okay. One more thing, like after the training session, shall we practice on it or what?
You can practice in your own time. That access would be given to you. There is no time constraint or anything. It's just that if you are utilizing it for a longer time, and If anyone else is waiting for the server, you need to give them the access. That's it. It's not that only during the training time I'm going to open the access. During the training time, I'm going to explain you the concepts. You're not going to make use of the environment. After the training, until the next day, you would have access to the server to log in and practice these concepts.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi, Sujan. Steve here. One doubt.
Hi, Sri.
The version you are providing for the practice purpose to the students, what Teamcenter version that is? Is
It should be Teamcenter 12.
Okay. Is it a 4th tier or it's a local Teamcenter? Or it is going to connect with the batch file by the server?
It's a 2-tier environment.
Okay.
Any other questions, anyone? If no other questions, then let's conclude this call today. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to Ravi. He's going to answer all of your questions. Thank you. Have a good day, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you.